Hi, I'm here to talk about International Women's Day, which is on the 8th of March. Now, the theme this year is about climate change. And the reason they've picked that theme for Women's Day is because women and children are often at the forefront of leading the action in environment and sustainability and climate change. And they're also the ones who often are feeling the brunt of the effects of climate change. There's often vulnerable populations that are the first to feel the effects of storms and heat waves and smoke apocalypse. And women and children are really suffering. So it matters. This really matters. Now, I'm here with a piece of artwork that is climate change art made by a local female Canberra artist. And this is hanging in my office. This is the first thing I see every morning. It really reminds me how important climate change is and why we need to do everything we can as fast as we can. You can see in this weaving, back in 1917, this was Australia's average temperature. And these colours are mapped out in an Excel spreadsheet that show Australia's changing temperature over time. And up here in 2020, we've hit the purple zone, which is pretty chilling. Now, the artist who made this told me that she had planned up to 2019, and then she hit this end. She actually had to go out and buy a new thread and find a new colour scheme because our temperatures had changed so rapidly and so significantly when we got to 2020. I've got a couple of arrows here. And this is the year I was born. This is 1977. You can see I was still born in a vaguely normal world. This is where my daughter was born. She's 8 years old now. She was born when we were already in this red zone of a massively changed climate. And she's lived through that. She's lived through smoke apocalypse. She's lived through these massive storms that we've never seen before. And she's now living in a purple world, which frankly terrifies me. Now, I take a bit of heart. I've spent a lot of time in the climate activist movement before this role, and that movement is really being led by young women and by children. And I've brought along one of the signs, one of my favourite signs made by a young woman in the climate school strike movement. She really says it all in a very simple way, but I think what we're seeing around the world is a lot of young women and kids are really leading the charge on this. There is a lot that we can do. We've done some really positive things in the ACT. I take heart from our 100% renewable electricity, and I know that if we could do that, we can take on all of the other really powerful actions we need to do. But I just wanted to put a bit of a shout out for Women's Day. Is there a piece of climate art, maybe made by a woman that you know, maybe made by you, maybe made by your kids? Is there a piece of artwork that you'd like to share that maybe shows the fear or the hope or a vision for a different world that you'd like to share? If you would, pop it on my Facebook in the comments. We would love to see your art response to Women's Day and climate change.